favorite wrestlers growing up?
Well, okay, this is great. Me being an amateur wrestler, and my brothers that were kind of bullies, I wanted to watch pro wrestling, but they were like, no, that's the fake stuff. You're the real deal. You know, we're real wrestlers. We're real amateur wrestlers. The pro wrestling's the fake wrestling. So I didn't get to watch a lot of it when I was a kid, but I really loved Bruno Sammartino. And my brothers did too. If Bruno was on, we were watching, but no other wrestler. But I did get to go to one event. My family didn't have a lot of money, but my mother and father gave me a birthday gift, and I remember Bruno was wrestling at the Civic Arena against Larry Zbyszko, and I got to go down there and watch that event, and that had a big impression on me. But I didn't watch wrestling after that, and up until the Olympics, I never even thought about it. Then out of the blue, I get a call from Vince McMahon, and he says, hey, we want to offer you a contract. Why don't you come up here to Connecticut, and I want to meet up with you. And I went up there, and I met with him, and he gave me a multi-million-dollar deal, a 10-year deal, and I was like, this is crazy, because I never had money before. And I said, well, Vince, I just want to tell you one thing. If I sign, I can never lose. He was like, you know what? Don't call us, we'll call you. So I went back home, but I still had the contract, and I went back to my agent, Ralph Sindrich. He was a really famous agent for the NFL football players, but he was also an amateur wrestler when he went to college. And I gave him the contract. He said, you're not doing that. That's the fake stuff. You're the real deal. He was also on me about it. And he threw it in the trash. And I was like, oh, you know, that's millions of dollars. And he said, don't worry, I'll get you another job. And he ended up getting me another job. It was as a sportscaster for Fox 53 back in 1997. And I was the absolute worst sportscaster of all time. And you know what? I should have known the first day I was on the air. I went into the studio, and I had my scripts, and they were all in order. And I ran into the producer. My scripts were up in the air. They went all out of order. So he's like, "Sit down, just read from the teleprompter." So the teleprompter is like on the camera. It has words for you to say. And I look up, and the teleprompter goes blank. So now I'm like, I have this earplug in with my producer talking in my ear, and I'm not saying anything for like a minute. And it seemed like forever, and he's like, say something, Kurt, say anything. And I remembered the first thing was Duquesne basketball. So I said, Duquesne basketball played today, let's go to the highlights. And I would go to the highlights, and I didn't know their names, so I was like, there's number 71 with a layup. And when that was over, I didn't know what was next. I didn't know if football or basketball or baseball was next. And I said, well, next is football, and let's go to the highlights. And we go to the highlights, and it's baseball. And this happened